If wealth were only about hard work, almost everyone would be rich by now. But they're not. In fact, most people will spend their entire lives trading time for money, while a small percentage quietly builds assets that work without them. So what separates these two paths isn't luck, it isn't intelligence, and it isn't even opportunity in the way you've been told. The difference begins in the way you see money. Most people are trained to think in income. You get paid, you spend, you repeat. Your brain starts measuring safety in paychecks. Over time, stability becomes more important than freedom. That shift feels responsible. It feels mature, but psychologically, it locks you into a loop. Because income depends on you showing up. The small percentage who build wealth think differently. They measure life in ownership. Instead of asking, "How can I earn more?" they quietly ask, "What can I own?" It sounds simple, but that question rewires behavior. When you think in income, you optimize for comfort. You avoid risk. You trade certainty for growth. You wait for promotions. When you think in ownership, you tolerate uncertainty. You delay rewards. You accept that discomfort today may buy freedom tomorrow. That psychological tolerance changes everything. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't fail to get rich because they lack knowledge. They fail because they crave immediate stability. Your brain is wired to prefer predictable rewards. A steady salary feels safe. Investing feels abstract. Building something from nothing feels dangerous. And danger triggers avoidance. So you choose what feels calm in the moment. But calm in the present often means limitation in the future. The wealthy minority understands something subtle. Money is not built from effort alone. It is built from leverage. And leverage feels unnatural at first. Leverage means your results are no longer tied directly to your hours. It might be capital. It might be skills that scale. It might be systems that operate without constant supervision. But leverage requires delayed gratification. And delayed gratification is emotionally uncomfortable. You feel behind, you feel uncertain, you question yourself. You watch others enjoy short-term comfort. Most people retreat at that stage. Not because they are incapable, but because the psychological tension feels unbearable. The small percentage they sit with uncertainty. They study patterns. They reinvest instead of upgrading their lifestyle. While others increase expenses with every raise, they increase assets. While others chase status symbols, they chase control over cash flow. There's another layer most people ignore: identity. If you see yourself as someone who works for money, your decisions align with that story. You protect your job. You fear losing income. You define success by salary. But if you begin to see yourself as someone who builds assets, your behavior shifts. You think long-term. You tolerate volatility. You study systems instead of chasing quick wins. Wealth is rarely dramatic. It compounds quietly. It grows in percentages, not applause. And that makes it invisible in the beginning. That invisibility discourages most people. There is no immediate validation, no applause, no guarantee, so they return to the familiar cycle. The small percentage continue. They understand that compounding is boring before it is powerful. They understand that ownership feels slow before it feels liberating. And they accept that social approval may lag behind financial progress. This is not about hustle culture. It is about psychological orientation. Do you optimize for comfort or for leverage? For income or for ownership? For today's reassurance or tomorrow's autonomy? Most people never get rich because they never shift that internal framework. And the small percentage who aren't necessarily smarter. They simply think differently about time, risk, and control. If this perspective made you pause, if it challenged something you've quietly believed, then you're already thinking a little differently. And that shift, subtle as it feels, is where every long-term transformation begins. If you want to explore more of the hidden psychological patterns that shape your success, consider subscribing and staying with us. Because sometimes the biggest changes start not with action, but with a new way of seeing.